first-century Galilee operated on a currency of military might. The Roman Empire enforced its presence through heavy taxation, armed garrisons, and imperial architecture designed to make the local population feel small and replaceable. Survival in this world required navigating the patronage system. A small elite group controlled the land and the wealth. For everyone else, security meant aligning with a ruthless patron and trading loyalty for the basic means of survival. To be without a patron was to be truly poor, lacking both a voice and a safety net. Into this friction walked a carpenter from Nazareth. He arrived in Galilee having just survived 40 days of testing in the wilderness, returning at a moment when the social tension between the occupied and the occupiers was reaching a breaking point. The crowds following him were destitute and desperate. They were looking for a leader whose authority didn't depend on Roman legions or the rigid social hierarchies that kept them marginalized. Seeing the scale of the crowds, Jesus ascended the hills overlooking the Sea of Galilee and sat down to teach. The setting carried heavy theological weight. By taking his position on a mountain to deliver a new set of instructions, Jesus was adopting the role of a new Moses, intentionally mirroring the delivery of the law on Mount Sinai. Instead of directing this new covenant toward the religious or political elite, he spoke to the powerless. His message flipped the values of the empire, prioritizing the needs of those the Roman world viewed as disposable. The Gospel writers offer two distinct lenses on this teaching. On the left side, Matthew emphasizes the internal state, recording a blessing on the poor in spirit. This required a recognition of absolute spiritual bankruptcy, an admission that no one could earn their way into this new kingdom through their own merit. On the right side, the Gospel of Luke focuses on the external reality. He records a blessing on the literally poor, addressing the economic destitution of the crowds and promising a reversal for those currently suffering from hunger and social exclusion. Jesus then identifies the mourners as blessed. In a society that prized stoic strength and Roman virility, openly grieving the brokenness of the world was seen as a failure of character. Jesus, however, taught that mourning over injustice and sin is what draws divine comfort. He was building the foundation of his kingdom on a platform of complete dependence. It was a rejection of the Roman ideal of self-sufficiency and a call to find identity in God's provision rather than worldly status. He continues by blessing the meek. The Greek term implies immense power under control, like a war horse remaining calm at its rider's command. It is a direct subversion of the loud, violent ambition that fueled the Roman expansion. He then shifts the crowd's focus from physical conquest to moral longing, blessing those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. While the empire hungered for new territory and more taxes, Jesus directed his followers to crave justice and covenantal faithfulness with the same intensity. These traits served as a quiet repudiation of the empire's methods. They demonstrated that true strength in this new kingdom was found in moral clarity and the restraint of force, not the exercise of it. The manifesto then moves towards social action. Jesus blesses the merciful and the pure in heart. In a first-century Mediterranean culture obsessed with honor and social transactions, forgiving a debt or helping the needy without a return favor broke the expected norms of society. He defines peacemaking as an active, vulnerable choice. It required stepping into the middle of conflicts to bridge the gap between enemies, a practice that was frequently viewed as a threat to the rigid social order. These outward actions provided a practical alternative to the lex talionis, the ancient law of equal retaliation. By commanding mercy over retribution, Jesus was introducing the specific mechanics needed to dismantle the cycle of blood feuds and societal revenge that gripped the region. Living by this standard invited immediate consequences. Jesus explicitly warned that following this path would result in societal scorn, in profound systemic exclusion, and state-sanctioned persecution. Luke's account balances these blessings with a series of woes directed at the wealthy and the comfortable. He framed the accumulation of riches and social approval as a spiritual dead end, warning the elite that their current comfort would blind them to God's coming reversal. This radical manifesto posed a dangerous, revolutionary threat to the existing power structures. It was a declaration that the kingdom of God would not be built through the methods of the empire, but through their total rejection. As Jesus finished speaking on the hillside, the crowds were left astonished. Unlike the local religious teachers who relied on the traditions of others, Jesus spoke with a unique, personal authority that challenged the very fabric of their social reality. By addressing the internal roots of anger and the external cycle of retaliation, the Beatitudes functioned as a manifesto of nonviolence. They offered a way to seek justice that did not rely on the edge of a sword or the crushing of an enemy. This historical legacy is anchored today at the Church of the Beatitudes. Its octagonal design serves as a permanent architectural reminder of the 8 blessings that sought to rebuild human society from the bottom up.
Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.